Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Talk Wordy, my hub for all of the words I'm reading, writing, or otherwise wanting to yap about. Today, I have another amazing author guest with me. She's the Wall Street Journal and USA Today best-selling author of a plethora of romance books, including, but not limited to, Mafia, Motorcycle Club, Second Chance, and Abduction Romance. She's also the founder of multiple reader-related charities, as well as a savvy author entrepreneur. Please welcome Willow Winters to the show. Willow, welcome to Talk Wordy.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here and chat all the things.
Yay! I have been highly anticipating this because I was telling you before we started recording, this is one of those episodes where it's not just like beneficial for our listeners. I'm secretly like, ooh, I get to know everything that I've been so nosy about.
Yes.
So this is super exciting. But before we get into all of that, I want to kick off the episode as I usually do with my guests and talk a little bit about what we've been reading, writing, and listening to. Since you are my guest of honor, I will let you go first. What have you been reading lately?
I have been reading Mel Robbins. Actually, it's self-help. With it's called The Let Them Theory. It is fantastic. I highly recommend it to everyone. It goes up there with Essentialism, which I read years ago. I believe it's Greg something who wrote it. I'm so sorry, I forget the author. Two fantastic books just for everybody. Anybody you meet in your life, great self-help. I am writing His in the Fire, which is the sequel to His in the Dark, a Hades and Persephone retelling. I'm obsessed, in love. After we're done, I have to write and then work out and then write some more. So, so I'm on deadline right now with that book. And I'm listening to a witchy book in the bath. I only listen to audiobooks in my bath because one chapter is like 20 minutes. So it's perfect for a soak. But I forget the title. So, so I need it's time for a bath sometime soon. It's been a minute. So when I get in there, I have to catch up on my witchy book and figure out what it even is. Yeah.
I think it's kind of cool that you're reading witchy books and it's like Christmas time because I don't know. I just feel like a lot of people read those witchy books reserved for like spooky
The
season,
holiday.
but
Yes.
I
Mhm.
don't know. The cold weather, it still applies.
Yeah, I feel like I'm brewmating, which is what our we have two tortoises in the basement. They're in a terrarium right now because they're too small to go outside, and they brewmate in the winter, which is like they're slower. They kind of are sleeping, but kind of not. Like they're not hibernating, but they might want to hibernate. I feel like that's me in the winter also.
I
I'm
was
like,
gonna
everybody
say,
leave me alone. Yeah.
what do you mean? What do you mean?
I know, right? I think that's some people I think are just meant in their DNA to brewmate during the winter. And that's me. And I love my witchy stuff when like, just take me somewhere else, give me
Yeah.
fantasy, give me spells, and I'll be happy.
I'm going to abuse that word now. That
Yeah.
is going to be
Brewmate.
like
Yeah.
my leave me alone. I'm brewmating. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna snag that. Also, I think I might have said like, what are you reading, writing, and listening to? Just because that's part of my intro. What else are you watching? That's the other part where I'm
Oh, yes.
curious about. Are you like a TV girl? You a movie girl?
I'm a reality show girly, so we just finished up the Squid Games, the challenge. I actually
Oh,
want to apply. It's one of my, I give myself rewards for writing 2 chapters a day. If I hit 2 chapters, I immediately get a reward off my list. And one of them is to apply to Squid Games. So, so just finished that. Currently watching Survivor, and I'm a Real Housewives junkie. So Real Housewives of Beverly Hills just started, and I'm loving Zoe on the show. I'm like super loving her. I used to watch her when I was a kid for her own show. And then it aired, not a kid, a teen, I guess, in college and such. So yeah, I'm living my best life in all aspects of that right now.
okay. So I'm latching onto the Squid Game part. I take it you watched the
Yes,
show. Oh
yes.
my gosh. Thoughts, opinion?
The season two, slower. It was definitely a saggy middle. Loved season three, loved the ending. Loved the ending of season one. I thought it was iconic. Like I absolutely love the show and the premise of the show. I just had difficulties with that season two ending. I was like, I hate this so much. Where is season three right now?
Yeah.
So yeah, so but in love with the just the premise. I thought it was fantastically done and addicting.
Yeah, I still think about it. I think about the fact that a year ago, right now, we were gearing up for season two. That actually blows my mind. Also, I love that you love the ending of season three because I feel like you and I are in this minority. I'm trying to be as vague as
Literally.
possible about it for any of our listeners that like have been tempted to go watch it, but I thought it was perfect. I
Yeah.
thought it explained and like related back to so much of what the heart of the show
Mhm.
was. It's funny to say heart of the show when that show was actually like really heartless, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, but you're right though, because it also changes the storyline from the main character in season one to really another character, which I don't want to give any
Yeah.
spoiler alerts. But yeah, I was hoping that it would end in a way where I could be like, yes, this was fantastic. And it did for me. I'm
Yeah.
happy with the ending. I liked how it ended. So yeah.
Yeah. I think it was very satisfying and it
Mhm.
had purpose. It didn't just
Yeah.
end the way it did to like rouse people.
Yes, I
That,
agree. I agree wholeheartedly. And
okay.
I love the game show almost even more. Have you watched the challenge?
Okay, I've seen clips. I've seen a
Oh my
clip on
gosh.
TikTok. There was
You
one
have to
clip.
watch.
I
Yeah, you
have
have to watch
to
it.
because I loved the show. There was
Mhm.
one clip I saw. I think it's from the challenge. If not, I think Mr. Beast even did like a version of Squid Game,
He
but
did. Mr. Beast did a version.
it was the clip where they have to like pick a slide and then one person just like slides into this abyss and just like
Yeah,
disappears.
it's shoots and ladders. So in this season, season
Oh,
two, the Squid Game's the challenge, they had shoots and ladders, and either you went down the board or you died. So yes, and the effects, they did the game show just like the actual show. So it appears that you are in fact dying.
yeah.
And then it had to be somewhere in their contract when you're eliminated, there's like a pack on their chest that goes off and you have to pretend to die. Yes, so it keeps very much in the theme of the game show, but it's real people. Very fast paced. It was very well done for a game show, and I know they had to have spent millions
Oh,
like
okay,
making this
yeah.
game show.
But
Yeah,
it's such a lucrative franchise that it's worth it. I mean,
definitely.
over where I live, because I'm over in Texas, they just created, I don't know if you've seen ads for it, but there's this place called Netflix House. And it is like 30 miles from where I live. It's in like the Dallas Galleria.
Hmm.
And it used to be where Saks Fifth Avenue is. It's massive. And they have like, you can do interactive Squid Game challenges. You can go into like the Upside Down for Stranger Things. Like its biggest franchises are in there. And it has like interactive activities, like themed like food places. It's
Yeah,
crazy. I want to go, but I'm waiting for like the holiday crowd to kind of chill.
dissipate.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm waiting till like January to go. Hopefully when kids are back in school. So,
yeah.
no, but it looks so cool. I
I
found
have
one
to
of my
go.
own people because I say Squid Game and they're like, that's so dark. And I'm like, you don't get it.
I know. No, yeah. It's the psychology behind it. But Sean and I, we're going to Dallas. I believe we're going to Dallas for a book event next year. So I think that would be fun. If we always try to stay a couple of extra days whenever we travel anywhere for work. So this would be fun to do like a little day away and do the Netflix house in Dallas. That
Yes.
sounds iconic.
Highly recommend from someone who hasn't been yet, but it's
Mhm.
like in their hometown, so I see it all the time.
I
It's
would love to do something like that for my books too. I have this dream one day of having almost like, have you ever been to an IKEA?
oh yeah.
Where yeah, you go through all the rooms, they're all set up and everything, and then you pick at the end, except like the furniture is made of books and all of the books have like the fireplace would be things on like either like spicy romances, but also maybe like woodworking and like lumberjack things and all of that. And like there's an oven, but the oven is all cookbooks that make up the oven. And then you would just write down like what book it is that you want. And on the way out, you get your shopping cart with all the books. That way everything stays in place, but interactive things as well from my books and like multiple rooms that are just mine. So that is like my dream. That is my fantasy. That's what I dream about when I go to sleep at night.
I love that. As somebody who just I love an IKEA if I just need to, well, I would say decompress if there are not a ton of kids there because otherwise it gets very cloistered and very ugh. But a quiet IKEA,
Yes.
nothing beats it.
Yes.
Nothing beats it. As far as what I've been reading, watching, and listening to, reading wise, I am notoriously a slow reader, but I read Mr. Wrong Number by Lynn Painter in like 2 days. I don't know what came over me because I had finished my Goodreads goal. I was thinking about chilling the rest of the year. but my friend in book club gave it to me,
Mhm.
and I was like, why not? I've read her YA stuff. I want to see what her adult rom-coms are like. Straight gas, that's what they're like. Five
Yeah.
stars immediately. Um, and it's like, I don't know, it was just so fun.
Mhm.
Um, I would be cool ending the my reading year on it, but I mean, I'm gonna try and keep reading some more. But it was so good. I'll probably pick
Maybe
up the rest.
another one will just sneak in there. I mean, that's how you know it's a good book. It was the right book for you at the right time and a good book in addition to. Like you just ate it up.
Yep. Watching wise, oh my goodness. Listen, I never thought that I would watch this. It was not on my radar, on my bingo card, but I am entranced by Heated Rivalry. I really told myself that I just wasn't the target audience for it.
Mhm.
I fear I was the target audience.
What is that on? What is he? I haven't heard of this.
Okay, it is on HBO Max. I'm like,
Okay.
let me tell you,
Yes.
it is on HBO Max. And that's one of the first signs where I was like, there's no way I'm gonna watch this because HBO is very like gritty,
It is.
very explicit.
Mhm.
I mean,
True
that's what
Blood, Boardwalk Empire, like yeah.
Euphoria, yeah. I was like, this may be too heavy for me.
Mhm.
But I was seeing edits to Heated Rivalry on my feed non-stop. And let me tell you, TikTok editors, they have like such immense talent. But in other fandoms, like I've seen like okay edits. Heated Rivalry fandom, I have never seen a bad edit on my For You page. Ever. They pick the best music, the best cuts. They like edit the footage to where it looks like you are quite literally watching them like with your eyeballs, like as
Mhm.
if the cinematography for the actual show wasn't good enough. They like somehow enhance the visual effects to make it look. Oh my gosh. I have no words
See
for
this. Hey
it. It
TikTok, I know you're listening. Can you show me edits to
yeah,
Heated
it's like
Rivalries,
heated
please?
rivalry edits, heated rivalry edits, heated rivalry edits.
Yes, please show me.
It is okay, so it is a book series that's written by Rachel Reed,
Mhm.
and it is an MM hockey romance. And again, that's not usually what I read, like at all.
It sounds
But
hot though. It sounds so hot.
is it hot? Oh my God. Oh my Lord. It's crazy good. But I saw an interview with the two leads. They were like, everybody's asking, like, why are straight women just like gripping onto the show? Like, why is it such a phenomenon with straight women specifically? And they were kind of going in on the fact that, like, it's not even like the sex stuff. It is let me rephrase because my account could get striked for saying sex. It's not even just the spice, it's the yearning that's in the show because the flow of the show, there is such a long time between their interactions because hockey season, like they're never in the same city except for like
Mhm.
months or years apart. And oh my gosh, I'm literally breaking a sweat thinking about it. It is phenomenal. I was like, I'm gonna watch episode one and then I'm probably gonna write it off, but at least I tried. I watched episode one and then I had like an early schedule at work the next day and I was like, I have to go to bed, but I want to watch the next episode. So bad. Um, highly recommend.
Yeah, I'm
Highly,
adding
highly
it to my
recommend.
list. I do think also for women, men wanting and men being drawn to something is an addictive thing. Even if it's two men and the woman's not even there, like women still want to see it. I think it just goes back to everybody deserves a happily ever after, and men being like exposing us to men wanting love and engaging in chasing after that love. I think that's addictive. I love it. Yeah. So there's got to be a psychology there where maybe even our culture is drifting more towards men not pushing it all down and not being so guarded and not being like, oh, happily ever afters are for women and love is for women and kissing is no, it's for everybody. It's for everybody. So, hopefully it catches on because men deserve happily ever afters too. They do. And if more people had love, there would be more love in the world and there would be way less of the bad. So I am a huge advocate for that.
Yeah, it's an incredible show. Also, they were talking, the leads in that interview were talking about how sometimes like men are like more emotionally reclusive or they're
Yes, they
less
are.
less of communicators. And so when it is two men, it's like, oh, they can communicate.
Exactly. Yes.
I thought that was so funny. But also, I don't know if you're an anime girl, but when I like in my teens, there was only one anime that ever stuck with me, and it was Yuri on Ice. There was a whole phenomenon about it, and it was, a Russian, like a male Russian ice skater, and then I think it was a male Chinese ice skater. I think it was China. I don't remember the country. It was 10 years ago that I watched it. And now we have heated rivalry where it's a male Russian not ice skater, hockey player
Mhm.
and then a Canadian male hockey player. And so I'm like, everything is recycled, like in a good way.
It
It's like
really is. Yeah.
how fashion trends from the 90s come back and they're like popular
Mhm.
now. The same can be said of like TV. I mean, let's take Squid Games. Like I had Hunger Games in my tweens, and now I have Squid
And now
Games
you have
as
Squid
adult.
Games. Exactly. Yes. Yes. Only
Um,
one is more real. I guess both are kind of realistic, honestly. Either one could happen.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Let's see. That was reading and watching, listening to, gosh, what have I been listening to? A ton of dad rock. I love oldies. Yeah, I've been listening to Christmas music. It's December. It's fine. I feel like, yeah, dad rock is my typical go-to, but also I've been starting on a new project, and so I've been listening to Jeff Buckley a lot. I need to be put on psychiatric watch. Jeff Buckley, listening to Jeff Buckley in December, talk about seasonal depression. I don't recommend. If you can listen to anything else besides Jeff Buckley in the winter when like nature's like barren,
Mhm.
listen to that. Don't listen to Jeff Buckley. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's what all we've been uh reading, watching, and listening to. And then I guess I kind of touched on writing. I'm writing or I'm drafting until my agent says otherwise. I am drafting a rom-com in the meantime, because fun fact, I've been on submission for a while. And so when
Mhm.
you're on submission, they're always like, oh, to keep yourself busy, you should write your next book. Well, then I did
Mhm.
that. And then it's like, oh, well, maybe you should like read more. And I said, okay, I finished my Goodreads challenge. Now what? And
Mhm.
then it's like, oh, why don't you just take a break from writing? I took over a month off of writing
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
and we're still on sub. What do I do now? And everyone's like, I don't know. So, I guess we're writing our next book.
I
Um,
think so. I vote that. Yes, it's good therapy to write. So the winter time, like there's nothing better than a blanket and writing. And I don't have any signings. So this is my like deadline months,
yeah,
December and January and into February a little bit. Yeah, these are like the perfect time to write, I think. So my vote is write whatever comes to you. It doesn't matter even what it is. Just write. Let that out, especially with seasonal affective disorder, and depression. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. Needed that. Needed the
Yeah.
boost. Okay, girl. Let's talk a little bit less about me. Thank goodness. And let's talk more about you. So, um, you have quite the career, both behind you and ahead of you.
Thank
Um,
you.
Absolutely insane work. But I kind of want to peel back the layers a little bit and go over kind of your author origin story, as I like to call it.
Mhm.
So, did you know like that you always wanted to be a writer, or is that something that kind of developed for you later in life? How did that journey transpire for you?
Heck no, I hated writing. The only C I ever got in high school was my English class. It was one time. I absolutely, even when I was writing my first book, I didn't see myself as an author. Absolutely not. So I had my baby, Jax, and he was like 1.5 ish. And I was pregnant with my daughter, reading a romance book a day, devoured it. I couldn't go anywhere. I didn't have, first of all, we were broke. Second of all, I had no energy. So I was constantly reading and just taking care of Jax. And then Evie was born, my baby girl, who is my mini me and is writing little comics. Her and Jax write their own comics and write their own stories. It's adorable. She's even like signed in my books before, and I accidentally sent a couple of them out because I put them in the wrong pile, and Sean took them. It was a mistake. It was, it was, yeah, but they're very involved in the work and everything. But I was broke. I didn't want to read anymore. After she was born, she wouldn't let me put her down, so she was on my chest, and I used to read on my computer because I had Kindle Unlimited, but I didn't have a Kindle. So I would read on my computer for Kindle Cloud. So I got used to sitting down with my belly and now with my baby and having my computer open. And I thought, I have all these stories in my head. I'm not a writer. Let me just write one down. And my daughter's godfather, Samir, went to school for English. He's now a lawyer. But he said, well, have you ever heard of Kindle Direct Publishing? He was like, you can query and everything, but you suck. It was like literally, he was like, you're not in English. Like, this is not your thing. If you want to just put it out there, like, you can go ahead and do it. It's really easy. Go ahead and do that. So I queried for a week. I didn't hear back, and I'm very impatient. Patience has never been a virtue of mine until recently. I feel like now with three kids, I have a lot more patience. But back then I didn't. So I was like, let me like barter with somebody else and be like, can you edit this? And I'll do something for you. Like literally, it was so unprofessional, but I threw it out there and I was like, if I have even like two readers who like this, that's like $5. And I can go to Dunkin' Donuts and get the munchkins plus my coffee and go to the play day. And I don't have to worry about that money because that's how broke we were sometimes. We had a one income household with a mortgage, two kids. My background, I have a BA in neuroscience and a BS in biology, but I was a stay-at-home mom. I wasn't using it. I lost a lot of my personal pride, I think, and my personal identity because I became Jax's mom, Sean's wife, and that's basically all I was at that time. And it made me sad. And I was like, I'm going to do this. It's going to be fun. It's going to keep me busy, and maybe I'll make a little bit of money. Within, I think it was like 5 months, Sean was able to quit his job because he made his yearly salary in a single month. And I told him, I said, there's something here. I love this challenge. At that point, I was still a little bit guarded with the community. I had a teacup in front of my face. That was my profile picture. And Sean didn't want me to put my real identity out there. He was like, men will harass you. Like, don't put your real stuff out. Like, he was very protective of me at that time. Now he's, going on TikTok with me and everything. So I was like, just, I need your support because I can't just write during nap time. I can't, like, when you get home from work, I don't want to run up to the bedroom and close the door and write. I want to have family time too. So I was like, please quit and do this with me. And it took ebb and flow. It was a little bit of a rougher transition, especially for my husband and for me too, and us figuring out I'm a Capricorn and he's a Leo. So whoever it like has control of that leash right there, like that's that it took us a minute to figure out where we lead and where we follow and where the other person feels comfortable. And now we have this beautiful family, a beautiful career, and a beautiful life together. And I'm just very happy with how everything worked out. If you told me back then though, I probably would have called you an AH for for like even like I was like, don't joke about that. Like this is just for some money. Like leave me alone, kind of a thing. Because I did have a lot of criticism from immediate family, saying I was wasting my time. Why would you even write things like that? Aren't you embarrassed? Things of that nature. And I wasn't. I was happy. I was happy and I felt like I was finding myself and I eventually found my people and my community. So yeah, I'm really grateful that I just stuck to my guns and was stubborn for that Capricorn part of me coming through.
As a Leo, I get it.
Yeah.
I was like, ooh, ooh.
I know Capricorn and Leo, every time I see like anybody, they're like, and how does that work? And I'm like, well, we had our moments, but now it works perfectly. Yeah.
Okay, so give me a little bit of insight on, I mean, because you said if that transpired in 5 months and you were able to help your husband kind of exit
Leave a
his
job.
job,
Hmm.
what was the journey like from going from the, oh, I'm just gonna do it to like make some Dunkin' money
Hmm.
to, okay, I
Now
love
it's
you.
working. Yeah.
Leave, please leave your job and do this with me. Like, what
Mhm.
was that? What would you
It was
say? Like,
difficult.
it was
It,
difficult. I
it was
mean,
difficult because I don't have a business background. So, and everything that came in, I put right back into the business. And expansion is expensive, and we hadn't done taxes yet either. So, my husband quit his job. Then we bought a house, and we had to get an more high risk mortgage because neither of us had background now for our work. Because I hadn't been an author for even a year, and he had just quit his job. So, but I wanted to do it because different things about the neighborhood. So we did it, and then we got our taxes in, and then we got a financial manager who said, "Oh my God, what did you do?"
oh,
Yes, but when you're expanding and you're taking all of your profits and you're putting them back into the business so that you can keep growing, you don't actually have money in your hands because it's all going right back to the business. And at that point, Sean is trying to manage one side of financials and I'm trying to manage one side of a business that's taking off. And if anybody knows anything about the behind the scenes of indie romance, it's every 3 months things change. Algorithms change, strategy changes. Like you have to really stay on top of it. So it was so high paced. So within a year, Sean wanted me to quit. Even though the money was there, everything was fantastic. Everything. He was like, your mental health is not good. Because it felt like everything, for the first time, I had an entire household that was relying on my income, plus two kids, and my husband had quit a job, and all of this, and so all that pressure on my shoulders, plus this growing business that's requiring money, but my life that's also requiring money. And I was like, I didn't know the balance, and that's when I had to delegate. When I had to rely on other people, I had to bring on Sophie, who I think everybody knows about Sophie and Team Willow. She's in the UK and my partner in crime. I only started sleeping well when I hired her because she's in the
Wow.
UK. So she would be awake when I was asleep. So I would stay up till 3 or 4 for when she woke up and always tell her, good morning. Okay, this is what's going on. I posted this here. Can you keep an eye on this? And then I could go to bed and I felt like nothing would burn down. Back then Amazon could send you an email saying, your work has been found on this site, and they wouldn't tell you what site it was. It would be not plagiarized,
Pirating?
pirated. Yes, my work would be pirated somewhere else, and they would say if you do not remove it, your account will be closed in 5 days, or something insane like that. And at the time, like I didn't have an Amazon rep. I believed them, which I mean, you just have to send copyright proof and send a cease and desist to the thing. I didn't know. I didn't have a lawyer yet. I
Yeah.
would hire that lawyer in a few years who would help me. But at the time, everything felt like though it would be on fire. And I had fires to put out everywhere constantly. And it felt like everything was on me. And I had a difficult time delegating and giving things to Sean to do and giving things to Sophie to do. So I would slowly grow into this position of you're a businesswoman, not just an author. You're a publisher, but you're also a business manager, but you're all like it took me a long time to know what hat to wear when and to keep my emotions stable because it is a very volatile career in the beginning. Money comes up and money goes down. And at that time, it was right, 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 right. Everything was ebook, ebook, ebook. I would write an ebook, publish an ebook, and then start writing the next before even thinking about a paperback because 10 years ago with indie self-publishing, that was where the money came from, was Kindle Unlimited and ebook. So when my husband told me that he wanted me to quit, I said, what if I just go wide? Because a lot of this pressure is having new content to release in Kindle Unlimited and keeping up with ranks in Kindle Unlimited and spending money on Kindle. It was all of my stress came from being in Kindle Unlimited. And he didn't understand that, but he was like, if you want to try that, we can try that. So I did go wide. And I did give more things to Sophie and more things to Sean. And, now Sophie has two assistants herself. She's my assistant with two assistants, plus we have over a dozen employees. So the more that I've delegated and the more I've had bad things happen and I have survived, the more now when something happens, it rolls off my shoulders and I'm like, okay, well, how do I fix this? Let me figure this out. Let me call this person. Let me like if it's not going to be here in 3 days, I'm not going to give it emotional energy. If I'm not going to remember it next year, I'm not going to give it emotional energy because there's just so much going on and so much does rely on this business now. But now I can kind of ease back and let the business also like I can rely on my own business because I have so much infrastructure now. That was a lot. Oh my gosh, that was so much.
No, but it's so insightful to everybody who's listening in. Like,
Mhm,
even I didn't know, and
mhm.
it's still universal now that indie publishing, like, things shift every 3 months.
They
And
do.
that actually kind of locks something into place for me because, I see authors who release multiple books a year, and I'm just like,
Mhm.
first of all, how?
Wow.
Second
Yeah.
of all, why? And it's
Mhm,
because every season there's something new in this like indie publishing like gear shift.
mhm.
And that new book is kind of what helps them like stay relevant, I guess,
That
in a way,
and
or on top of the game.
financially, a lot of people need it financially. They rely on new releases for their income as opposed to relying on their back catalog, which is more difficult, especially when you're in Kindle Unlimited. A lot of authors still are in Kindle Unlimited. So they feel the need and that pressure to continue to release. And the algorithm on Amazon has shifted so much in 10 years. It used to be 99 out of 100 of the listings on the top 100 in Amazon were new romance books. If you look now, it's barely ever a romance book. And if it is, it's with a publishing house where they have thousands of dollars that they're spending a day, or an indie that is spending thousands of dollars who also has connection to a publishing house.
Yes.
And that's just, it's changed so much. And the majority of authors, they can't afford $5,000 a day for one book for an ad. Like, absolutely not. So they're trying to release more content. And I just don't think that it's healthy for your mental state. And I think it probably stifles creativity in a way if you feel that, even though I do need to feel a little fire under my butt to write. And I do release about 4 books a year, and 2 are co-written, and they're about 250 pages long. So like 55,000 is my sweet spot. So I release a good bit. I mean, I probably write 160 to 200,000 words a year, which is comfortable for me to balance with everything else. But some authors are releasing, 4 books at 110,000 words. That's a lot of writing, and that's a lot of hard work. They're really busting their asses, and they're doing it over and over again, and a lot of them for an income that is dropping. And they're not exactly sure how to get it back up. And I think the answer for a lot of authors is that back catalog, and they just don't see it yet, or they're learning that now, and they're creating those other revenue streams.
Shifting a little bit into like your book specifically, how did you know that you wanted to jump around in the romance subgenres with different books? Did you have any initial like worries or reservations about it? And if yes, how did you kind of talk yourself down from them?
All of my friends told me not to do it. They're like, you need to establish a niche. You need to stay in your lane. And I was like, well, I don't feel like it right now, so I'm gonna write this. When I wrote Wounded Kiss for my paranormal romance, and I'd never written a paranormal before, I said, I'll just get Halloween treat for my readers. It's what I want right now. I'll release it, and it probably won't do well, and I don't care. I want to write it. It's good for my mental health. It's my therapy is writing. This is what I want right now. I'm gonna do it. And it took off, and my readers loved it. And I think I am my own audience, and I bebop around. I read everything. As long as it's spicy with a happily ever after, I'll read it. So I figured, I'm just going to write what I want to read, and I'll publish it. And a lot of my friends were like, you should do a different pen name. You shouldn't do that. You like whatever it is. And I was like, I'm just going to do it. Okay. So my thing is I write spicy romance, I write happily ever after. And depending on what mood you're in, I probably have the book for you. Do my dark romances do better than everything else? Yes, they do. I think I'm known for dark romance, but my small towns, they still hit the spot for a lot of readers, and a lot of readers start with those and then venture into my dark. My
Mhm.
paranormal still hits, especially during that witchy season, even though it goes all year round. I have my short stories even that I bundle up and package. That special edition of all the short stories I've ever written, it's purple, it's really beautiful, has a lavender interior. It's one of my best selling, even though everybody says, don't do a short story. There's nothing, They also say, do long, there's a lot of, general thought in the industry of this works, you should do this, do not venture away from this. And then there's me in my little bubble, do. I'm just going to be bop around, do whatever I want. As long as it keeps me happy, I'm going to do it. I just make sure that I market appropriately. A bad cover in the right market will do better than a good cover in the wrong market. And that is so accurate because you need your cover to look like the blurb, to look like the inside, to look like the reviews. And as long as that is seamless, you've done an excellent job marketing. You're going to find the right readers. Will your current readers want it? Maybe, maybe not. It depends. Are they feeling what you're feeling right now? And I can't answer that. All I can do is offer it. So I just went for it, and I'm happy that I did. And it's a part of what creates that foundation for my empire of no matter where you are in your reading, if you're feeling like this right now, I'm gonna have it for you.
Oh my gosh. And empire is definitely the right word to use for you. I don't know if you're
Thank
super
you.
big of a Swiftie. You're giving father figure energy. Um,
Thank you.
and that is such a compliment because I think that's my favorite
Yeah.
song for Life of a Showgirl. But getting into your bookish empire, for those of our listeners that don't know you,
Mhm.
how many books do you have in total right now?
I have over 70, and if you include short stories, it might hit 100 now. Yeah, in 10 years, roughly next year in May will be my 10-year anniversary. So I think 16 or 17 are co-written, and the majority of those are that 200 to 250 page. I do have some that are, they originally published like that and they're cliffhangers. So the one couple with their happily ever after is an 800 page book. I would say a third of my books are probably like that, where they're actually 600 to 800 pages for the couples, but
Mhm.
all of them are released as these 55,000 word short. That's just what's comes out of me. When I
Yeah.
wrote Merciless, which would end up being a 4 book series, I had no idea how many books it would be. I thought it would be a standalone. And I got to a place in this book where I was like, this feels like a good place to end. Like it feels like an episode in my head, but this is a series. This is like it's done here, but it's not done. And I was shocked and I was like, okay, I'll go ahead and release it. And a reader asked me, how many books is it going to be? And I was like, I have no idea. I was like, we're going to find out. I was like, yeah, I'm not sure. Find out with me. Stay tuned.
Yeah.
And even though as a reader, I hate cliffhangers, if the series isn't finished, I won't start it. But as a writer, I'm like, well, this is out now. Don't hate me.
Yeah.
I do tell them this, just so you know, this is a cliffhanger.
Oh my gosh. Congratulations on so many
Thank
so many
you.
books. In more of a humorous note, when you go to signings, how do
Mhm.
you pick which books to like bring?
Currently, we're focusing on bringing special editions because for my business and the way that I've created it, you can't purchase a special edition. Well, now you can. We just started a line where you can purchase a special edition just off the bat, whatever book you want. Here you go. We have However You Want Me, and I believe my Valetti and my Highest Bidder series are now available, or they will be shortly. And those are by drop ship, so we're able to do that. But prior to that, you had to be a Patreon member to have access or to get a specific edition for Patreon, which I love. And we do them monthly. So you can collect like the discrete series with foil and the edges matching the book. Like it's so pretty. Or you had to be in a subscription box to get special editions. There was no other way. So I started bringing them to the signings because if you're coming in person, I feel like you should have access to the pretties, right? You should be able to do
Yeah.
that. So I focus on the best sellers, the most recent, and the prettiest. And I bring those to the event. My Beauty and the Beast retelling, that one almost always sells out first. And then that beautiful edition of my short stories, that also typically sells out because it's beautiful and it's two of my favorite books I've ever written. So I love a short story, but marketing it is probably one of the more difficult things
Mhm.
until I made collections.
Yeah. And that actually kind of answers one of my questions because I was going to ask, is there a certain book that just really resonates with you after all this time?
Yes. I mean, so I just answered this question at an event yesterday. Two different tables asked the same question. And I gave a 4 book answer.
I'll take it.
Yeah, so Forget Me Not, which I thought would be the longest book I ever wrote, and it was one of the shortest first drafts for a novel that I've written. I was shocked. That story clung to me. I still remember walking around my dining room table at my old house, thinking about this and figuring it out, and then writing it. And I just felt so good. And it was my first USA Today bestseller, and which hit out of the blue. I had no idea that it would happen. Absolutely in love with that. And then All He'll Ever Be, which is Carter and Aria. That was the story that I wrote book one. I didn't know it was going to be a cliffhanger, and it ended up being 4 books, and I had no idea how long it would be. In love, absolutely in love with their story still. And that muse still comes back to me. And I still hear things. And I'll be doing a second generation for them shortly. I think it will release in 2027. I just signed a contract for it actually. And then the other two, I could just do one with this one. It's what the feel is in the moment that I need. And right now, I do need that, like I was saying with my audiobook, that witchiness that's felt like take me away from here, put me into a different world. And she's like a recluse witch, and everyone thinks she's all powerful and dangerous. And she has this entire territory to herself, and nobody ever goes there. And meanwhile, she's like with her apron in her garden, clipping her herbs. And it's like, people stay away from me. People are so mean. I just want to be in my own spot. But her love language is acts of service. So she has a magical mailbox where their letters will just appear for her, like pleading with her to like grant them whatever it is that's going on. And she's like happily as could be, doesn't want to ever upset anybody, like the sweetest little thing. And this soldier gets trapped there because she casts a spell that goes wrong and she doesn't mean it. And he has to go find the powerful witch in the woods. And that's when like her dark, dangerous side is like literally like leave me alone. But she is his fated mate, and he is drawn and attracted to her like no other, and always thought he would never have a fated mate because a somebody cursed him and said you'll never have a fated wolf. They said, and but she's not a wolf, she's a witch. Yeah, so it's like I love that one so much, and it gave me all the good feels, and it was exactly what I needed this like fall winter. So if like I'm in love with
I need this book medically.
it. Yeah.
Medically. Because at first I was like, oh, it's giving Wicked, it's giving Elphaba, but Now
Yeah.
I'm like, ooh, and
It's
let
just
me tell
giving
you,
one bed. It's giving yummy. Yeah.
Fated Mates will hit every
Every
time.
time.
Whether it's the
Yes.
feel of Fated Mates or
Hmm.
actual Fated Mates, it's
Hmm.
over for me. It's curtains. Oh my gosh. Now we're going to get into the part that I like to call the Nosy Sydney section, but
Okay.
it's community service for all of our listeners.
Yeah.
So I want to talk to you a little bit more in depth about social media
Yes.
as an author. So, with such a massive catalog, how do you strategize marketing so many books online despite the varying like subgenres and subject matters? How do you maintain a consistent brand with that many books?
With all of that, yeah. So I have a whole team behind me now. And not only do I have my books, I also have merchandise and I have brand collabs with different companies. Like Playful Promises just did a collaboration with me for a lingerie piece inspired by my character Aria in that Merciless series and All Harbor Bay. And that was so much fun. So I try to do a lot of like look behind the scenes. Here's what I'm doing today. And I advertise a lot of the Discreet series, which is color coded by Darkness and Trope for all of my books so that they're aware, okay, she has a lot of variety. And then I also do my free books and my series starters to get readers into that. And that sounds like a lot that I just said, but I post 6 times a day on Instagram. So literally every single day, I have 6 posts a day. I had messaged a manager who was doing things, and I said, okay, I posted that post yesterday for you. And he emailed back. He was like, where is it? I don't see it anywhere. And I was like, oh, it's right here. And he was like, what? That was just 2 days ago because you have to scroll to see.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I try to get everything out there and I post as much as I can so that everybody can know exactly what I'm doing. And I treat my business like I'm a publishing house, not like I'm an author. So every like book series is a different author kind of if I was a publishing house. And that's the way I try to treat my social media because my readers deserve to see all the aspects and they have to see it, right? When I was in college, I was broke as could be. And the Tupperware lady wanted me to host a party. And I said, oh, my friends can't afford this. I was like, I went there for your free orange peeler, like from like, and I bought like one item that was like the cheapest on the list just to be like, I really did get something, at a friend's party. And she was like,
Yeah.
hey, you don't have to sell anything. I don't care if you don't sell a single thing. The point is, showing your friends what it is, how it's good, and them having their wish list so that if and when they do want it, they know where to get it. And that's the way that I treat my social media is it's every single post might not be for everybody, but I want them to know about it because they
Yeah.
might not want a recluse witch right now, but when they need those cozy vibes, they might see it, they like it comes up again or they remember it and then they're going to go get it. And they might be a dark romance lover, but they might read, The Life of Anna. I found my boundaries. Fantastic book, very dark. I had to skip pages because it's on page very graphic and violent and gory, and there's magic, so they can literally kill her and then
Mm.
bring her back to life after they've done things. It's horrible.
Oh,
Yeah, and I had to read it all. I read it all. I love the ending. I do recommend it if you like dark romance, but I did find my limit there. It's the darkest thing I've ever read. I needed like short story fun reads after that for days.
yeah.
I was like, help me, help me. No
Like
more dark
clawing your
romance.
way
I
out.
literally I had to claw my way out of like the pits of despair. I was like, did we get a happily ever after? Yes. Do I feel like I got one? Not fucking really. Or
No.
not. So you never know what anybody's gonna need. I'm just gonna do it all and I'm gonna put it all out there. And I'm gonna be consistent with it. I have a pattern to what I'm posting, and then I have like the trends, the behind the scenes, the fun stuff. But I try to be informative and keep everything organized and keep it all intuitively knowing. So that when they see a cover and a discreet, they know, oh, this is in her small town. If they see something that's darker, oh, that's definitely a dark romance. So,
Yeah.
and the more you can repeat the same language, the more your audience will actually repeat it, and then they start to help each other out when they see somebody has a question. And that's when I know I've done a good job. Is when a reader can casually answer, but the words coming out of their mouth are things that I've said in other posts repeatedly. So I love that. That's what I strive for.
That's awesome. Though followers aren't everything, the amount you've brought in specifically on your Instagram
Oh.
is beyond impressive. I know you've touched on like the posting 6 times a day, but also like what are some of the key factors that you attribute to your success? I will say specifically on Instagram because I think Instagram is one of author-wise, like that's our go-to platform. I feel like it's an Instagram, TikTok world. Now we need to probably integrate Facebook a lot more than we think. But what have you seen success wise? Like, what would you say are the key factors there?
It's funny that you say that because my conversion's actually highest on Facebook. That is
Really?
Yes, and when I started, Facebook was the only real social media, 10 years ago.
That's
So it
true.
could be because my core group is still oriented on Facebook, even though it was a group then. Now it's the Facebook page where I'm seeing that. For Instagram, I've done a lot of trends. I've taken trends from other industries like the wine. Like I'm on wine Instagram, whatever that's, I don't even know the hashtag. And I'll see something, I'm like, oh, that could be funny for books. And then I'll do a version. Like I had there were two cups and I'm pouring from one cup and I'm trying to get it in the one that says plot, but all the water is spilling into smut.
Yep.
And I did that, which was in the wine thing, and that went viral. I can't tell you that I got followers or sales from it, but it was fun. And I think a lot of authors see trends and they want to jump on it because they see views. And if you think views, then you're going to get sales and you're going to get followers. I don't think that's the case. I think being consistent is really what it's about. And you can throw in the fun ones. Like that was, I really wanted to do that because it was hysterical.
Yeah.
And I had that idea and I was like, this is a brilliant spin on a trend from a different industry. So let me do it. And I did have fun with it and it did go off like I thought it would, but it wasn't a money maker and it wasn't a community builder per se for followers. But the community that I have, I think would chuckle at it. And that's why I did it. And I did get a lot of like nasty comments too from you can't do a single thing without having nasty comments, especially on YouTube. So I think first of all, ignore the negativity, try not to engage with it and feed the trolls, be consistent in your messages, right? And that was one of the things that I heard with, well, if you're bebopping from dark to light, how is that consistent? And my consistency is you're going to get a spicy, you're going to get the feels, you're going to get your happily ever after. And that's what I'm giving you. So I make sure that that resonates in all of my messaging with that. And then just having fun with it so that you can keep it up. Because a lot of people, they're trying to do something that drains them. They're trying to figure out something and they don't like it. When you find something that you like and that works for you, just keep doing that. That is your voice. Scream as loud as you can. You will find your people. Other people may hear and it might not be for them, but that's okay. Just keep going in that respect. So I do think that posting so frequently though, I don't think it, I know that that is a strategy for Instagram growth that is highly effective. So I do continue to post frequently, even though it does minimize reach on previous posts whenever you post a new one. And if you're not giving space in between, but I don't want a ton of views and a ton of likes on just one post because I have a ton of things going on.
Mhm.
So, and also I'm building and building and building. And to build, you do need to post frequently.
I like the fact that you were able to say like reach versus growth. I
Yes,
think sometimes
very different.
we think it's the same thing. They are two very different things. Okay, so harkening back to Facebook,
Hmm.
because again, I feel like in the modern day, especially newer writers, we don't think to set up
Facebook.
either a Facebook page or a Facebook group, especially when we're starting out, because we're thinking, oh, like I'm so small. Why would anybody want to join a Facebook group?
Yeah.
What can you say about the benefits and the functionalities of having like an author Facebook?
Off of Facebook. So first of all, some audiences only on some platforms. Like they just only want to be on Threads. They only want to be on Instagram. So you can use apps like repurpose.io and you can post on whatever platform you love, but it'll automatically post everywhere else. So that community that maybe you don't love that platform but they do, they're still going to see you and they're still going to be able to find you. So even if you hate it, just get a handle up on whatever account it is and use an app like that so that your content is at least being posted there so that you are providing for those readers. That's what I really try to do is just provide for all of the readers in as many ways as I can as possible. And then for Facebook specifically, there's an audience. It is a bit older, but that's a community that has the money. And right now, like my grandma reads my books and giving them a happily ever after, it like that makes me so happy. Everybody deserves a happily ever after. So there is an older community that reads and loves and is prolifically reading because a lot of them are retired. So provide for them. Just be there, be present. And for groups, Facebook groups, it's a lot like Patreon. It's a lot like the channels. Well, it's not exactly like the channels on TikTok and Instagram because in those channels they can't reply back. But a Facebook group is really good for community. You do need somebody in there to just monitor it because sometimes people will vent or people will fight or people say, well, I hated them. And then readers start bickering and you don't want that kind of a feel. So having somebody moderating it, keeping it upbeat, like just making sure that if somebody's account gets hacked and they're trying to send DMs to people, you don't want that to happen. So it is a little bit more, it requires more energy and more critical thinking, but it's worth it because that's your community. And your community is going to be on different platforms, but being able to give that energy, it's going to give you so much more back.
I love that. Now, this may sound a little negative, but I am a firm believer that not all social medias are created equal.
Hmm.
So in your experience, if you had to, where would you rank social medias from like most beneficial to lesser beneficial? Maybe not the least beneficial, but from what you use, what would be like your top three or five?
So my top three, I love Facebook and Instagram, and then it's either YouTube or TikTok. One or the other. I love creating content on TikTok because that's was the first one for videos. I'm the most comfortable with it. It's very easy to do, and I happen to love seeing trends and all of that. So I love that about it. The algorithm can be crazy, and it's not what it used to be 5 years ago. It's changed dramatically, and it's money hungry right now, and getting the growth and reaching the right readers, including your own audience that you've gathered, is more difficult now. It's barely showing it unless you're paying money. And
Mm,
if it is showing it, a lot of it is going to people who aren't your audience. And I love YouTube because I think that it's a very smart way to market. Although they are spending a lot of money to fight advertisers, and advertisers are spending a lot of money to fight it. And there's a lot going on behind the scenes that does make it more difficult for content creators, but they have a great audience that has not been tapped into for this bookish world as much. So it's not as saturated. So they all do have their pros and cons, but Instagram and Facebook would be my top two, and then it would either be TikTok or YouTube. It honestly just depends on the content and the reason that you're asking. If it's for ease, TikTok. If it's for money, I would say YouTube over TikTok, to be honest, unless you're doing TikTok shop and also paying advertising money for that.
noted. Okay,
Mhm.
that's super insightful because I think a lot
Hey.
of us authors, we will reach for what's most convenient and we just
Mhm.
like think because it's so, I guess, oversaturated,
Mhm.
overpopulated too. Like, oh, I'm gonna hit the most amount of people. Well, if you're, a small fish in a big pond,
Mhm.
are
Well,
you?
also, the app itself has trained readers or audience now to use TikTok Shop because it's very marketable for them. It's beneficial for them. They get money for promotions. And if you're not on TikTok Shop, you can have a viral about your book, and there might be a Kindle Unlimited audience there. But for a lot of wide authors who get virals on TikTok, the conversion just isn't there because
Mm-mm,
it's not on TikTok Shop and it's not on Kindle Unlimited.
that's true.
Mhm.
That's a good point.
Thank
Okay.
you. I like making those. Occasionally I have them.
Yeah. Oh no. Occasionally, no, you've got it more often than that. Okay, now I kind of want to talk about the future. So, also kind of the current in a way, with the state of romance,
Mhm.
currently and with the new year,
Yeah.
like right around the corner. What do you think may be some of the biggest things for authors to pay attention to in 2026? Especially because you were mentioning how like the Kindle or the EPUB world changes every like 3 months. So what do you think are going to be some of the biggest things to watch out for this year?
There are some pros and cons to what's in the future for us, as always, right? Always.
Yeah.
So, in the history of mankind, like the human beings in the entire history, the majority of books published have been published in the last 20 years.
Hmm.
Of all of our existence. It is very easy to publish books now. It's very saturated, and AI has also joined the arena, right? And you have businesses being created with millions of dollars being backed by companies who don't even and individuals who don't even care about romance books. And the entire company's intent is to AI publish romance books on Amazon. It is its only purpose, and it is being backed by people who don't care, being run by people who don't care. It's going to be likely very profitable for them, and an unfortunate consequence of that is going to be readers consuming subpar books and being less trusting of new authors, right? And I've asked Amazon, my rep, about labeling AI, and because of potential lawsuits and an inaccuracy of them being able to detect it fully, and companies not being truthful and not checking those boxes, there is no way for them to segregate these types of books that aren't written by real people and are being, written by sometimes technology that has stolen from from authors and are in current lawsuits, right? There are several lawsuits currently happening with that. So I think it would be beneficial for me to discuss the future without identifying here is a problem, right? It's a saturation of AI written work, specifically being published on Amazon and with new author names. So for newer authors, it is going to be more difficult. And for authors who are established, being more out there with your person and who you are as a person, I think is going to be very beneficial. And community building is going to be highly needed, right? Because they're going to need to see you. They're going to need to know that you're a person. They need to know your brand. You've got to really harness your brand, hold on to your brand, put your brand out there, and you should be the center of your brand. Because readers who are going to get burned by these bad books that are AI written, they're going to want to run to somebody who they can trust. And that's going to be a real person who they've read before, who does have a catalog, and they know that they like their work, and that person is still out there. And it's the same person that they know, right? Or that they think that they know. So that's going to be very important, as are other revenue streams. So Patreon is a great outlet, and Ream, you can create communities there. Patreon was more art, less book in the beginning. Ream is created by a romance author for romance authors. So that's a great platform to be on. And you can put anything on there from what's going on behind the scenes, character artwork, sneak peeks of what is coming up, free books, free audiobooks. You could do all sorts of things. That's where I have my monthly special editions that are specific to that platform. Things like that are going to be really great. And direct sales are also going to be very beneficial, because as the books are being saturated and more books are being published, and what I mean by that is, in 2018, 2019, and 2020, it was about 1.6 to 1.8 million books published. And then in 2020, it was 2 point something. And in 22 and 23, it was 3 point something. And so far this year, over 4 million books have already been published just on Amazon. And all of these are just new releases on Amazon, right? So it's more than doubling from just a few years ago. And it's going to continue to do that unless there's massive changes on Amazon. And not only that, but you're also seeing these publishers and some indie authors who are spending mortgages every day on just an ad for one book, right? And that's very hard to compete with. Having your income diversified is going to be very important for survival. Because, like it or not, we actually do need money. A starving artist is like, that's a saying, but it's not nice in real life. So, making sure you have multiple revenue streams and that you're making the most of your back catalog is going to be far more important than creating new material, in my opinion. All content that you're creating is new material, and you can benefit from that by putting it on all of these platforms, by growing your community, by engaging with them, and by tying it back to either merchandise or previous books. And all of that is going to be important for survival, because we do need income to survive. So that was a lot, and I think it might have been a little bit more negatively skewed because I'm identifying some very big threats to our industry, but I think that is the most transparent and honest that I can be. We really need to hustle right now to hunker down with our community and create as many revenue streams as possible if we want to still be an author 5 years from now.
Yeah. I like, as much of a hard pill as it is to swallow, it's a necessary one,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm honestly, I'm so glad that you pointed out the AI problem, as it's only getting
Work.
stronger and bigger. And I think it's a luxury to be in denial about it.
Mm-hmm.
A luxury that we shouldn't have because
Yeah,
it's not just in books, like it's pervasive. Like it
it is.
came for art first, I feel like, and especially
Mm-hmm.
like more publicly, it's coming for books. It's going to come for everything else. It's already starting to come for jobs, and so
Yeah.
I think it's important that you highlighted that for us. On a lighter note, though, if you don't mind sharing, what are some of your just like author goals for the new year? Are you a New Year's resolution type of person? What do you have kind of
Mhm.
on the horizon for yourself?
I am a New Year's resolution person, and my New Year's resolution is actually to have my community help me with accountability. I'm gonna create a little for working out of all things. My personal trainer, every time I go away for traveling, I don't do my workouts, and
Mm.
I've really worked hard. So I'm gonna have like a little Patreon for Willow's Wildflowers working out or something like that,
Yeah.
so that we can all keep each other accountable in that respect, which is more community building, has absolutely nothing to do really with books, and more I just want to hang out with my readers and be like, oh, I'm at this event and I did my workout. What did you do? Like whatever it is.
Yeah.
My trainer is going to put some workouts in there. I think we're going to do that. It was like a fun idea we came up with.
I think
And
that'd be
I
so
think we
cute.
really should, right? I think it'd be fun. But more for my business, I want to have that consistency in writing, which I've never had, and get ahead of writing, which
Mm.
I've also never done. Typically, when I think I've maybe had two books that I sat on for like 2 months each.
Mm.
And because I finished in time and I was able to get paperbacks and special editions or something of that. So I really do want to pace myself so that A, I don't hit burnout, which I hit at the beginning of this year. So I don't want to get to that mental state of pushing myself beyond what I'm comfortable with, which I did for years. For
Hmm.
essentially 8 to 9 years of my business, I did that. And this year was the first time was like, if I don't feel that I should, I'm not going to. I'm
Hmm.
going to give either this to something else or I'll be fine without it. I'm going to stick to that, but also get my pacing down for my writing so I can find that balance that feels comfortable. It's just so hard with the kids. The
Yeah.
kids really, they throw wrenches and I make plans and, they laugh. So I really want to like pace myself with my writing for consistency in writing, not burning out. And then just building my community and continuing to do what I'm doing in that happy place. I do have a goal with my husband to start TikTok lives because we've been
Ooh.
wanting to do this. I actually want to talk about the industry, like how it started, what we did, how we made things work, what it's like now, funny things that happened, and just open up a little with readers and other authors too. So I can help other authors by giving some like insight as to what happened and how. So that is a big goal of mine. But again, with the kids and everything in life, like we've had 3 dates that we were going to do it previously. It did
Mhm.
not happen. I'm hopeful, but I make no promises.
I did TikTok live this like every Tuesday this fall because I would do like a Dancing with the Stars debrief,
Yeah.
and it was so fun.
Yeah.
I don't think, and it's weird because you think, oh, you're like just kind of talking to yourself. Like, how
Hmm.
is that fun? Once you like get the ball rolling and you see the comments come in, it is so
Hmm.
fun. It's like having a catch up with a long distance friend. So whenever you have your lives, I'm gonna be in there.
Yay! I'll message you. Yeah.
Yeah, this has been so insightful, so fun. Just again, this like almost like a long distance friend catch up. I have absolutely absorbed everything like a sponge.
Yeah.
In the like author side, as the host side, this
Mhm.
has been a blast. Thank you so, so much for coming on the show.
Thank you for
Here.
having me. It's been a blast on my side too.
Yeah, no, this has been so fun. To end the episode though, I want you to let our listeners know, like, again, some of your social handles, like where they can find you, and also any of your like upcoming events that they might be able to attend to meet you in person.
Absolutely. All of my events are on my website, which is willowwinterswrites.com or willowwinters.com. I have both of them. They all lead to the same place. There's actually a fun story behind that, but we're wrapping this up, so I'll save that for next time. But you can find me on social media, and I have completely different handles, which I shouldn't. But Willow Winters author or Willow Winters should be writing are my handles. And again, that's don't be like me, be better than me. Don't be funny and make your Instagram handle Willow Winters should be writing. You should stick with the same handle everywhere. But there is a link in my bio on all my socials that will lead you to everything. So if you find me one place, you can find me everywhere and you can find everything that I've got going on.
Okay, you guys, thank you so much for tuning in. And until next time, I'll see you in the next one. Bye, everyone.
Bye.